Once again, we are excited to present to you a very special program. In this program, we will be discussing Hovnanian School, and the new acting head will be introduced to the community along with two parents, Siranush Dervormajian and Arabu Jalian. It's really an honor for me to introduce Chris Sarafian, whom I've never met before. This is the first time I'm meeting Chris. Chris has been in education for the past 27 years of his life, and he has been in every aspect of education, from enrollment to administration to teaching. So he brings a lot to Hovnanian School. Chris, this is a way to introduce you to the community. What are your opening comments?
Well, thank you, Vartan. I appreciate it. I'm very proud to be here at Hovnanian School. I grew up in the tri-state area in Westchester, so I've known of Hovnanian School for many years, and I'm proud to be a part of this great team. Somebody said to me, well, what gives you the energy that you have? And it's the children. The students give me the energy to do what I have to do to make this place successful.
Chris, we all know we are in the very serious pandemic, coronavirus pandemic. And the last few months, very important period in that school's life, you had to wrap up the school year. You had to accept the challenges. How was the challenges accepted and overcome?
So initially, we weren't anticipating it being this long. We anticipated it being a few weeks initially. So our initial kind of plan was to send packets of homework and classwork home with the students. And that would satisfy the need for a short period of time. When we realized that it was going to be longer, a longer duration, we needed to go into the virtual learning online mode. Our teachers, our students, our parents were not accustomed to this type of learning or teaching, and they've actually all, from the students to the parents to the teachers, they've all really taken the bull by the horns, and they've become successful. Now it's become a new way of life for all of us.
You know, we are in the summer period, and many schools have different programs for the summer. There are summer enrichment programs, there are summer camps, there is summer school. Are there anything in place for the summer at Hovnanian School, and what do you foresee September to be like for the school?
So let me first start by saying that we will be having an enrichment program over the summer for our existing students. As well as we will also be looking into the possibilities of developing a summer camp option, which would be preferably on campus, but we could do it online. And so we're looking at the options. We're everything is, we're following the CDC, the state of New Jersey, the government. So we have a lot of great plans for the upcoming academic year. Our academic year, we hope, will go on as normal with modifications, of course, with social distancing. But we've put together a re-entry task force at Hovnanian School of our faculty, other administrators, and some parents, to discuss the options for re-entry. So we have 3 different options to re-enter the school. One would be a traditional on-campus re-entry with heightened health and safety precautions. Our second option would be a blended learning environment where we would do either a partial, students would come for part of the week, and then they would do the other part of the week at home, through a virtual classroom. And then once again, depending on what the CDC in the state of New Jersey requires us to do. The third and least desirable option would be totally going virtual for the academic year.
How has coronavirus affected enrollment?
So right now, our enrollment, what I say is that we have two things when it comes to enrollment. We have enrollment and we have retention. So from a retention standpoint, we're hoping that we are going to be able to retain the students that we currently have. From an enrollment standpoint, we're looking at it in this way. Right now, our numbers are slow coming in. However, that's standard with all private schools in throughout the country. One of the hopes is that people will realize and parents will realize our ability to successfully keep these students safe going forward based on our size, based on our dedicated staff, based on the layout of our facilities. One of the things that we are proud of is that the average school in Bergen County has approximately 175 square foot per child, and we have close to 400 square foot per child. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot more space that we can keep our children safe. We have 5 access points, entry and exit points, that we will be utilizing in the fall. So it won't be a situation where students will all be coming in the main entrance. They'll be coming in various entrance respective to where their classrooms are to minimize movement.
Chris, Hovnanian School has been an oasis for many Armenians. We would congregate there on many happy occasions. There will be a lot of events, the Monty Night, the Lenten, Baki Josh, we call it, and there were a lot of fundraising and scholarship money was needed for the school. How are the finances? How concerned are you about the income?
So I think that from a standpoint of the institution, from an institutional standpoint, Hovnanian will be here in September. There are a lot of private schools that are closing, but we will be here. What we are focused on is we're focused for this year, for this upcoming year, is increasing our scholarship ability. So we've created a drive to offer scholarships and help to raise money. We're looking for some fundraising opportunities for people to donate to help scholarships, to raise money for scholarships, for not only for our existing students, but for families who potentially wouldn't even have the opportunity to come to Hovnanian. And we want to open doors and create opportunities for those people as well.
We have 2 parents who are patiently sitting there and listening to us. Let me start with Siranush, whom I've known for quite a few years. Siranush, you are a graduate of Hovnanian School, and your journey through life led you to the Stern Business School at New York, then the Business School in London, and now you're a senior director with PepsiCo, and you're a successful individual. I was warned by Nazar Altun that I'll be talking to very, very serious people, and I'm so happy to be able to do it. Chris does not have to sell you the school. What we want you to hear from you is how would you sell the school to the other parents who are standing, wondering whether I should send, what should I do with the kid, which is your most valuable asset. Siranush, it's yours.
So thank you. Thank you, Vartan. It's a pleasure being here. It's an honor being here. Very excited to be part of this discussion. And I'm a very proud alumni from 1992. Nobody needs to sell me on the school. And every time I speak about it, I get both emotional and I get excited and empowered. It's a very, very warm feeling that I have about the school. Nobody needs to sell me on the school. I'm very fortunate that I was able to attend this school. I graduated with 8 amazing individuals, and we're all still very close friends. And it's given me the strongest foundation that I had to excel in the rest of my life, whether it was, going to Dwight Englewood afterwards or going to London Business School afterwards. It, really gave me that foundation. And without it, who knows where I'd be today. But the friendships it's given me, the network it's given me today in my life, it's definitely invaluable. And we currently live in Westchester, so we are about almost an hour away from the school. And Chris knows, and Nazar knows, and others know, I am looking for parents in Westchester. I'm going to use this as a selling point here. I need a couple parents from Westchester to please call me or the Hovnanian school, and we are getting a bus. I need a bus for my child to bring them over. I've got 2 kids. I need another 2 or 3 kids, just one more family. And we want to send our kids to Hovnanian. It just hasn't been an opportunity thus far because we are so far away from the school. And we do both work, my husband and I, but we would love to send our kids there, and but we're an hour away. But for anybody who has the opportunity, no doubt you should be sending your kids to Hovnanian, both for the strong academic background and for the friendships they will have for a lifetime.
You're the proud mother of Mary, who is 6 years old, and Garen, 4 years old. Will they be at Hovnanian school in September or very soon?
Well, again, unfortunately, because of the bus system, it's quite challenging for us. However, given we are now on Zoom, I spoke with Chris, and we got Mary into Hovnanian right now. So Mary's actually partaking in the 1st grade class with Mrs. Flynn and Mrs. Sarafian. And we are so fortunate that even if it's for the short period, she has been able to take part in these classes. And I see a huge difference between what she got out of Hovnanian in just the last couple of weeks versus what she's offered in public school, to be honest, right? There's no comparison. The 2 teachers have been amazing. Her classmates, of only 8 kids, she gets so much attention in the class versus a class of 20, somewhere else. So the attention she's gotten and the love we've gotten from the other students, the teachers, and the parents, it's like going back home, right? But most importantly, the education, I could see the difference, even if it's when I pop in for 5 minutes to see how she's doing on her Zoom class. So amazing academic background. And hey, in September, if we're still on Zoom, Chris, sign me up.
I've already sent your enrollment agreement. So.
Okay.
Siranush, you could sell ice cream in Alaska. Trust me, you can. You're a good salesman. I'm sure.
Thank you.
Ara Borjani is enjoying hearing your sales pitch.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
She's very, very good. Ara, you've been an investment banker, Morgan Stanley, and now you're the chairman, CEO of a international veterinary science company. You're a successful businessman. You're listening to what is being said. You too are a parent of 2 young, beautiful kids. Tell us, what is your take of the Hovnanian school, and what will be your move, hopefully, in September?
Thank you, Vartan, and thank you for inviting me to this panel. I think it's very important that we discuss this, and certainly with the recent pandemic, it's been a focus for a lot of people. I can say I have not been as fortunate as Siranush to have the ability to have gone to Hovnanian. We didn't have that. We lived in New York at the time, and it was difficult. So when we moved to Jersey, my first contention was to make sure that my kids have a Haigagan Gertutun. That was first and foremost, and still is the most important aspect of this thing. Yeah. People sometimes lose that focus, because certainly economics comes into play, logistics comes into play, a lot of things come into play that are very serious and they should be taken into consideration. But for us, we've from day one. So my daughter Natalie, there was no nursery back then. So as soon as we could get her into ELC, we put her into ELC 8 years ago, and she's been there ever since. She's in 5th grade now, and thankfully, Hovnanian opened up a nursery, which has been a godsend for us, quite frankly, with Christopor, my 3-year-old, and he's been there since 3 months old. What I could say for me personally and for my wife is, and I say this to Chris, and I've said it to Nazar and to other people, in this environment that we live in, not only during this pandemic, but just in general, it gives me such comfort to be able to drop my kids off at Hovnanian. And I'll talk about the education in a minute, but I feel like I'm dropping them off at my grandmother's house. I really do, or my aunt's house, and that's no lie.
Beautiful.
I drop them off. I see Chris's face there. I see the other teachers there. I'm comforted, then I can go to work, and I don't have to worry about it. My mind isn't even at there for a second. On occasion we get a call from Mrs. Dabalyan for some nurse things, but that is it, and they're in good hands. So I could tell you, just from an experience perspective, over the last couple of years, I have seen a incredible improvement in my daughter, both from an academic perspective, from a critical thinking perspective, and from a social perspective as well. You would think that because they're in an environment where it's only Armenians and like-minded people, that they wouldn't be able to get a vast sort of array of experiences, but I found that to be the opposite. We have seen head to head with any other school. Quite frankly, Hovnanian has given us an edge, with the extra benefit of being an Armenian school, with the extra benefit of the way Siranush pointed out, that she's able to make lifelong friends. Not that she can't make lifelong friends anywhere, but the main purpose of this is to keep our hygiene. That's the bottom line here. And for us, it was key and critical that we maintained that and we perpetuated it. Very happy with, just circling back, very, very happy with the way the online learning has become. I wish I owned some stock in Zoom, but it's been incredible to see that not even a heartbeat was missed. Hovnanian was clearly prepared. I've heard horror stories from other private schools where it's only an hour or two a day, and there was really no preparation. But Hovnanian not only seemed to be prepared, but has planned correctly for the next semester. So we continue to be extremely bullish on the school. Extremely proud to be parents there, and for the foreseeable future, as long as we're in the tri-state area, we will be going to Hovnanian.
I really love the way you described you're dropping the kids at grandma's house. Yeah. It's really a beautiful picture, and I think the school should use this phrase. Chris, what can you add to what you just heard from very dedicated parents?
Well, first, let me just thank them both for being parents, because one of the things that Ada had mentioned is like dropping them off at grandma's house. I look at this institution, and I've been at various institutions throughout my educational career. And this institution, to me, is what I consider family. I look at the parents, I look at the teachers, I look at the students, and I say, that's what family is about. The commitment that they have, I look at it like a marriage. We have our good days and we have our bad days, but we stick together and we'll survive together. And as I talk to parents, and I've called every parent on the phone just to make sure that their children are okay and they're okay and everybody's safe and healthy, the one thing is families. They all care about each other. And when you walk through the halls here and I look at how, whether it's your child or another child, if somebody falls in the hallways, the parents of another parent is picking up another child and making sure that they're okay, because that's what we do. We stick together and we'll overcome this. This is a horrible thing. I feel being in a small institution and a very kind of nurturing institution helps us. We have an advantage. We have an advantage over a classroom that's got 30 kids in it. Our maximum classroom is 14. So we can distance ourselves within classrooms that most public schools will find it very difficult to do, if able to do it at all. So we're ahead of the curve, and that's where we want to be. We want to be, our main concern with the children is their social, academic, and emotional well-being. And everything that our faculty, our staff, even our administration does is keeping that in mind to try and stimulate and work towards that kind of utopic area to make sure that all our kids are okay in all those areas.
Ara, you are the proud parent of Natalie, who's 10 years old, and Christopher, who is 3 years old. In closing, what is your message to young families like you and Hovnanian School? What is your advice? They're the most precious asset you have in this world. How would you like to encourage people to think about Hovnanian School and send their kids to Hovnanian School?
Listen, thank you, Vartan. I'll say it in this way. I feel very strongly about having the proper leadership in any organization, quite frankly. It's not just the environment, but it's also the leadership. And I'll say it in the way that will make sense. So quite frankly, I've met Chris only a handful of times, and with this pandemic, it's been very difficult for us to really engage more than that. But when he first started, what struck me was he knew the names of every single child that walked in that door. Mm-hmm. He said hello to every single one of them as they walked in. He had a conversation. He knew what was going on in their lives. He was very much involved in the day-to-day. You could tell that they cared. So environment is very, very important. I would say certainly everyone loves their kids. Certainly everyone wants the best for their kids.
Absolutely.
It is a choice that people need to make. Sometimes it's beyond the choice because it could be for economic reasons. And I hope that we're at a place from a scholarship perspective that we can help people with that choice.
Bravo.
That should be the message here. That not that you don't want to send your kid to Hovnanian, but rather if it is an issue that we can help resolve as a community, be it vis-a-vis a scholarship or anything else, then we should be able to come together to give kids the same benefits that all kids have. Now listen, Sianish's the scenario is different, and there are a lot of people like that. And people in the real world, to be pragmatic about it, it's difficult. You can't come from White Plains or from other areas to drive there. But this online schooling, this has been a litmus test, I believe, for us to be able to develop more curriculum this way, drive more revenue, and provide a real Armenian education, be it an Armenian class or other classes, to people that are either can't join Hovnanian for whatever purpose, whatever reason that is, or logistically doesn't make sense. So my message is stay tuned. Hopefully Hovnanian board will come with a plan, and Chris and the faculty to sort of push forward an agenda where all kids will have the opportunity to enjoy the same love, caring, and education that our kids are enjoying on a daily basis.
Siranush, you're the mother of Mary and Garin. They're the most precious asset you have. I guess you're so proud of them. What is your message to parents in closing?
What I'd say in closing is this pandemic that we're in right now. As I look at I don't want to call it the bright side, but the other side of it is I've spent a lot of time with my children, right? Mm-hmm. As I'm not commuting to work, I have a lot more time in the house, and I've been very much more involved in just their lives every day and their homework and their learning and their education. And I just encourage all parents to take this opportunity to really sit back and think about their kids' education and say 10 years from now, I don't want to regret being able to have that opportunity from Hovnanian and not taking advantage of it. So as I, spend more time thinking about my children's career, I just encourage all the families out there, money will come and go. But once your children are past 8th grade, you can never send them back to Hovnanian. So don't miss this opportunity.
Mr. Chris Sarafian, this whole video is to introduce you to the community. What are your final words?
My final words are to emulate what both of the parents said. We are an institution that we believe gives to our community. The community we're part of the community. We need to keep it going for generations to come. It takes parents like the ones who are on this evening that are committed to make sure that we can grow and flourish for the future. We are academically, we have achieved this past year, we received New Jersey NJIS accreditation, which it was a great feat. So we are now NJAIS accredited, as well as Middle States accredited. So academically, we are challenging, we are developing new programs, we are expanding offerings, and one of the things that we'll be implementing in the fall is our Leadership Institute, which is going to be offered to 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, giving them the tools needed to become successful leaders in the world.
Let me thank each one of you and thank also Mr. Nazar Altun, the chairman of the board of Hovnanian School, because he was the one who put me in touch with you, and he did tell me that I'll be talking to a very extremely fine young generation, energetic Armenians, very successful people. And honestly, that's the way I feel after this interview. He needs you. You need him. We all need all of us together to move forward. And Chris, all the best to you. It's going to be very challenging, but I keep hearing so much about you, about your energy, about your communication skills and reaching out to the younger generation, young kids. So all I can say, we'll be there for you if needed. And for the time being, I really feel honored getting to know you, introduce you to the community. Siran, Nush, I've known you for quite a few years, and Ara, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for all.
Barton, can I just add one thing? We will have a Monty night again, and we will have the events again. So we look forward to seeing everybody here at Hovnanian School, and we'll share in the joyous occasions. Thank you.